All right, I'm live. I had pre-programmed this Legends, and then when I tried to run the pre-program, I think it's a bug on YouTube. It would not pick up the mic, so I restarted it under this one, and there were a few people waiting. But I figured I'd get started on this one, and people would catch up. So Merry Christmas to all of you, all you cyclists out there. I hope that you've been good and you got all the wishes and the gifts that you wanted for Christmas. But the most important thing is that you're healthy, you're well, you're with your loved ones, the people that mean something to you. That's what's more important than stuff. There's Robert. Robert Tangler, how you doing? I saw your comment pop up for the Strava ride that I did yesterday. I didn't get a chance to read it because I've been a bit hectic running around here. And so what I was going to do was open up Strava while we're talking and see what you commented about. My wife thinks I'm crazy because I'll do an easy ride and it's 5 hours. She said, that's a long time to do an easy ride. I said, well, I'm just out enjoying. Michael, Merry Christmas to you. Let me see what Robert Tangler said on Strava. I did a ride and I said festive 500 day one easy ride. Robert said, glad you're posting these rides. Any plans for videos as well? It's hard to say, Robert. I may do some, but I don't know if I'll do all of them. It'd be probably cool. You know, I can take the camera with me. But yes, today I couldn't get out. You know, we opened gifts and just hung out with the family. Some of them are still upstairs. We just got through Christmas dinner, videotaped some of the festivities and send them to other people who couldn't be here. So I came down to do this session. So I may film some of the rides. Tomorrow's ride, yes, that's like day 3 of the festive 500, but it's the day 2 ride for me because I didn't ride today. So I got a lot of kilometers in yesterday, and I'm going to get a lot in tomorrow. So yeah, we'll definitely be filming. Let's see here. Who do we have here? Razban. He says, Merry Christmas to all. Merry Christmas to you too. Carlos, Rashid. Merry Christmas, guys. I got a nice little gift from my wife. I hope the camera will do it justice. Let me see if I can do more lighting here. There we go. She got me something with my name on it. This is like, because I do a lot of, I drink water all day long. It has my name on it. But the cool thing is, I don't know if the light will get it. She's got a cyclist on there. It's engraved. I'm trying to get it to where you all can see. There's a cyclist on there. You see the mountains in the back. He's going downhill towards the mountain. He's in the valley. And I think it says, don't limit challenges. Challenge your limits. That's what those words are that you see there. You know, I'm not an easy person to buy stuff for because usually I'm not into stuff that much. And so it was a nice surprise. I told her, she asked me, what do you want for Christmas? I said, I don't really want anything. And so, but she still got that. And so it's kind of neat. That's a nice touch there. So you can see the cyclist in silhouette. And she said the guy who did the engraving is kind of one of those artsy type. And he took it as a challenge because she gave him pictures. Trying to see if I can get a better view. Those are the words right there. So he was excited. He was proud of his work. This may not do it justice, but it's really kind of neat. I like cycling specific stuff. So this is really cool. It's got my first name on there. And so right after that, you can see the cyclist. And a lot of shadows here. But that's kind of cool. That's what I got from my wife. And my 9-year-old daughter got me a card. And just a card to dad. And that's kind of cool. Those are the kind of things I like. You know, cards and different things that are homey and wordy more than stuff. Janet, Merry Christmas to you. Oh, Rashid said, is it available to us lesser mortals? I'm glad you asked that, Rashid. This is not an accident. I've already set it. It is on the website right now. I did that 2 hours ago. I had a feeling because we finally got a deal with a company that's going to make this available at a reasonable price. Like, it's funny you use the word mortals. I was not happy with the pricing on this original Santini. So what we did is we made a retro version of the Santini, and that's what you're seeing here. This is long sleeve, it's fleece line, It's for winter. It's for colder weather. We also have the summer version. Let me put the link here, Rashid. I just loaded it on the website earlier today. So let me do this. Let me use another browser and get the actual link for you. So if you go to veloharmony.com, under the shop, on the menu, you look under the shop. Let's see here. This is running a film. I was watching our ride earlier, the ride from last week. Even though I work on those rides, I work on the pieces. I've said that before. I don't get to see. It's kind of like you bake the cake. I don't get to see the final product until the premiere. So for me, it's new too. And then sometimes after that, after the premiere, because I'm chatting with people, I go back and watch it, sometimes many times over, just to see how did things go, what could I improve, that kind of stuff. So that's why I was running that. Go to the Veloharmony shop. Let me get the link. Under the shop menu, you will see it. It says cycling apparel. It's the first one. It says Veloharmony retro cycling jerseys. We're also going to be rolling out the shorts. So in 24 hours, the links for the shorts should be uploaded on the site. So we're going to have shorts. We're going to have tights, all of that, reasonably priced to where it will be affordable for most people. That's the plan, because I really like this style, but I didn't like the pricing that Santini was giving us, and we had to buy so many copies. So even though it's custom, we don't have to buy 15 at a time. Whatever orders we get from you, in 4 to 6 weeks after I place the order, you will have your copy. So I can order them one at a time if I want to. That's what I like about this. With Santini, we were restricted to gathering a large number of orders before we could place the order. So now I can just order for one person if I choose to, and that's nice. But since they're custom, I also put a size chart there, and I put a recommendation on how to size your jersey, because you're buying custom, we can't really return. They're making it for you. You use your chest size in centimeters, and that will fit you. It's designed to fit you well. We're not making it to where you have more room. So if you want a lot of room, you're going to have to size up. We're making it to fit like a cycling jersey is supposed to fit, like you see the jerseys we wear. So here is the link. I'm going to do just the, let's see here. That way you can have that. I'm glad I did that before this session, because I wasn't sure if people would ask. But this is very unique. I really love it. It's so warm. I wore it outside today, even though I didn't ride, just to walk out and see, because it was like 15°C here, but it's a cold 15°C for us. And so, yes, this jersey will be nice. It's fleece lined. So on the inside, it's not just a flimsy jersey. It's lined, so keep you warm. So here we go. So that's the link there. And basically, let's see. So you just go in the shop, you will see that. The shorts will be loaded probably by tomorrow or Monday. Probably Monday by the time he gets it. It will be loaded up on Mondays, where you'll be able to get the short ones and the tights. And the tights will also have our design on it. You know, and the tights, when you order the tights, order them for your waist, and you'll be okay. Go by your waist. So we're accommodating everybody. It's going to be nice. I'm glad that we did that. This is so nice. I love this design. And we removed the internet address that was under the original, because now the channel's well known. We didn't need to put that on there. And this is the back. And it's all on the web. You'll be able to see the whole thing. And it's got 3 pockets. But everything is just, the material is really good quality. So there we go. Let's see here. John Hill, Merry Christmas, my brother. John Demps, he says, Santa brought me a pair of Shimano R800 SPD SL. Yeah, baby. Well, good. You've been a good boy. Yeah, R800 SPD SL. Nice. Rick, he said, what about the sleeve length? Some long sleeve jerseys, the sleeves go way past my fingertips. I think the length should be on the size chart. There is a size chart. If you go to the link just now, let's see here. There should be a size chart there. But I like to err on the side of the chest, because even if this is long for you, you can always fold it if you need to. I just took these out of the package. I have not worn them to ride. I just wore them to go outside and see how warm they were. But this elasticized at the bottom, it seemed to work fine for me. There's nothing unusual about the leg length for me. But if you look at the size chart, it will give you the leg length in centimeters, and then you can compare it and decide which comes closest to you. But I like to start with the chest size when it comes to jerseys, because it doesn't matter which manufacturer you're dealing with. You're dealing with what they call pit to pit when you do chest sizes. So at least you know in here will fit. You know, so for me in this jersey, I wear a large, just like with Rafa and the other manufacturers, because on this one, the large is 101 and my chest size is about 103 thereabouts. So I took the 101 as opposed to the 105 because I don't like my stuff to be loose. And that's how you need to make the decision, consistent with the video that I made on sizing. Get the number closest to you, and you can't go wrong. So you can't adjust the chest size if it's too big. But if the sleeves are long, you can always fold them. So if you have to split hairs, go with the chest size. But I don't think that will be an issue because they, you know, unless you really have unusually short arms for your chest, most of the time it's fairly close. Let's see here. Rick says some long sleeve jerseys, the sleeves go way past his fingertips. Yeah, that's pretty long. That's an unusual sizing. That should not be. So look at that chart. It lets you magnify the chart on the website. Look at the chart. Start with what it said. I'm looking at the chart right now. There's an A, which measures your pit to pit. Okay, that's the first one. And then I believe, let's see, the sleeve is F. They have the legend on there so you can kind of look to see what you're looking at. The sleeve is F. And so for 101, the sleeve is 76 centimeters. So measure your arms and see how close you come to your chest. And then you can make your decision. I try to make sure that the chart covered everything, all these little things, so people could make decisions. And that would be the best way to go about it. Oh, okay. Hey guys, I'm live and my family, my sister came to visit. They're heading out, so I had to leave. Hey guys, I'm glad you came. I'm talking to the legends on here. You see the jersey? They love the jersey. So I'm glad I already put it on the website. So the guys asking question about it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, guys. We'll see you later. Okay. So yeah, it's always good to have family. You know, that's what's important. That's the real gift. The people in your life and you know, your relationship with them, that's the gift. All the other stuff, it doesn't really make Christmas work. It's the feeling of the you know, joy and whatever you get from everybody in the community, you know, all the lights and people's attitudes. That's the Christmas spirit. So if you don't get stuff, it's okay. As long as you have the warmth and care of the people that love you. That's what's more important. Here we go. Let's see. We got Rolando. Merry Christmas. How are you? I hope all your family is well and everything's going well. Marco, what Merry Christmas. Cycle Jockey. he says, keep up the great work rolling into 2021. Yeah. You know, it's a Merry Christmas. You got up, you have your health, you have your family. That's what's important. That's what makes it joyous. I am very thrilled this Christmas to be with my family, and that's really nice. And so I just hung out today. I knew I would hang out today. So yesterday I did like a 5+ hour ride. That was the first festive 500. So I got a lot of kilometers in ahead of time. So I wouldn't be playing catch up. And tomorrow we might end up doing 200K because fortunately for us, our weather is going to hit 21 Celsius for a high. And we're starting out like 10 or 11 Celsius for a low in the morning. It's cold right now, but it's not going to drop below 10C. So we're going from 10C to 20C tomorrow. That's a great day to spend most of the day on the bike, you know. So Marco wants to know how long a chain should last. That's going to vary, Marco. What I do, I use a chain checker tool. There's Park Tool makes a really good one. They have different kinds of chain checker tools, but Park Tool makes a really good one that you can drop in there and see the kind of wear. You don't want your chain to wear and you continue to use it because then it will wear out your cassettes. I've had cassettes for years that I'm still using because I prefer to change my chain before they're worn. The chain is less expensive than the cassette. So your cassettes are hundreds of dollars. The chain might be $35, $45. So you're better. If you change your chain consistently and before they wear excessively, you won't need to change your cassette. But it also comes down with your care, Marco. That's why we have videos on the channel. You can do a search where we talk about what you should do after every ride. Keeping your drivetrain clean extends the life of all your components. Chain ring, everything. So just that's what it comes. So you get a chain checker tool. There is no formula that says change it every year. Don't fall for that. It depends on the use and the care. Georgina, Feliz Navidad. Razvan, how did you choose Cell SMP Dynamic Saddle? That's a good question. I answered that in the past on some other videos. I did a lot of research over the years, finding different styles of fitters and so forth, and I stumbled upon a guy in Australia. Let's see. Let me see if I can find his site. So he recommended that in one of his write-ups, and that's where I got the idea to try it. He recommended that trying the SMP Dynamic was the best way because you didn't have anything at the bike shop. The local shops in our area did not carry SMP. And so it's kind of expensive if you're going to try SMP to just buy a saddle, almost $300 saddle without, knowing if you like it or not. So the fact that he recommended that, I tried it, liked it, and then I stayed with it and got him for the other bikes. His name is Steve Hogg, H-O-G-G. He's based in the land down under, and he's an excellent bike fitter. He doesn't do any red tool fit, none of this stuff. He just knows how to fit you. He's one of these guys, old world fitter, that can fit you just by looking at you and based on his experience. He does not believe in all these kits per se. And he's actually pioneered different ways of setting your cleats. He believes in the midfoot setup, if you into that. To where you have to have the shoe that will accommodate it with the holes being far back enough. And my setup is close to that midfoot. My cleats are way back on there. And most of the shoes that I buy, the holes are down, which is the video I put on the channel talking about setting your cleats using behind the bone of the metatarsal bone. That gets it to the widest part of your foot. So Steve Hogg was the reason I tried the Dynamic. And then I just loved it and basically outfitted my bike with those saddles. They're not the lightest saddle, but they're very tough and sturdy. I don't like saddles that move when I sit on them. And the lighter saddles have a tendency to do that. So they really hold their position. My brother is here. Merry Christmas, my brother. This is what the wife got me. She put my name on this because I'm always drinking water throughout the day. This lighting is like, I don't know. Let's see here. Maybe this will be better. It's got a cyclist on it. See there? He's going downhill in the valley towards where the hills and mountains are. It looked more like hills than anything. But she got somebody to engrave that, and I thought that was cool. Yeah, here we go. We got a better picture from this angle. I'm going to turn it sideways like that. So I thought that was cool. She had asked me if I wanted a gift for Christmas. I said, nah, I'm good. Look at that. That is so cool. So he's in silhouette going down. And the guy who did it is very proud of his work. All she did was she gave him a picture. And it's kind of hard to go from a picture to something like that. So she said he was very proud of himself. Yeah, so I hope I answered your question very well there. But that, generally you have to try saddles and find which works for you. I've tried the Flight and all the saddles over the years. And I just wanted something that was sturdier. And SMP appears to be making saddles that are more compliant with the human anatomy. Their saddles have a really good dip in there that works with the hip when you roll forward as you go in the drops. And since I switched to that saddle, I am better anchored on the saddle than with some of the other saddles. Doesn't mean they're the only ones. There are other saddles out there. But I don't like flat saddles. I like saddles that have a bit of a dip in there. Let's see here. Jack of all. With all that K's you'd be putting in, have you ever had to deal with perineal numbness? No, I don't, Jack, because my bike is fitted to me. I don't sit on my perineum. I sit on my ischiopubic rhombus. My sit bones, as the colloquial names for it. If you're having numbness, that says your fit is off and you need to get some help. Everybody's always trying to dial in their fit. I talk about it all the time. But you have a lot of pressure somewhere that's causing you to get numb there. So that means that you're not seated properly. Your saddle height or your fore-aft is off. So you need some help. You need some help professional to get dialed in. You should not have any numbness. I mean, I can ride all day long, no problems. So no, then that's the norm. You shouldn't have numbness in your perineum, your hands, your feet. And it doesn't mean that where you're having the numbness from is coming from there. It doesn't mean your perineum itself is getting pressure. What it means is somewhere else you're sitting on is cutting off the blood flow. And you're just getting a symptom there. So it starts with the height of the saddle, the fore-aft, and the level of the saddle. That's why everybody says you got a problem with your fit. It's not one thing that's causing that numbness. But you need to address it because there's a lot of discomfort. You won't be able to ride very long. We don't have any problems. And that's why people always ask on the channel, like when we make the videos, how do you, somebody said, oh, I was worried because you were making a U-turn with the camera in your hand, all of that. When you're fitted to your bike, I can literally take off this jacket on the bike while riding, if the wind is favorable and it's not blowing crazy. And I can change clothes while riding. I can take a jacket off, fold it, put it up. Because your bike fits you. You can control it with your hips and all of that. That's where it comes from. So people who are not fitted to the bike, all they can do is just ride. They can't imagine. I mean, believe it or not, there are people we ride with all the time, that we film all the time. They have to stop to eat. The last ride we were on in the fog, they had to stop on a street corner. And then somebody said, I said, what are they doing over there? It's time to go. Let's go. Oh, they're eating. You should never have to stop to eat or drink. So that just says that they're not comfortable enough on their bikes to be able to do anything but ride. So they need their hands and all of that. So they can't imagine how we can film and do other things while we ride. All of that comes back to your thing about the numbness. You need to get that addressed. It's not hard finding a good fitter. I've made videos about how to select a fitter. If you were in the area, you could come by. But if you're not and you can't find anybody, use our remote fit. And we'll help get rid of that numbness. Because I've helped a lot of people. But that's what it is. You should not be having any discomfort. Period. All right, let's see here. Joseph Santo, Merry Christmas to you. Robert wants to know if my majority of my bike fit business word of mouth. Not really. A lot of it, people find me online. But since I started this channel in 2016, a lot of them find me through this channel and also Google, the Google ads. So it's not really, but quite a bit of it is because the same people I help get so excited that they send to other people, So I get quite a bit through word of mouth, But it's a matter of the mindset of the rider. A lot of riders only come for a fit if they're competing or they've got a problem. That's what I've found. There has to be an appreciation for the need of a fit because a lot of cyclists think that a fit is an upsell. Maybe it's how the bike shops do it. I don't know. Because, you buy a bike and you want to fit or whatever. So maybe people think it's an upsell. Until a rider believes it's necessary, they don't really believe in the need of a fit. That's where it comes from. But most people that compete realize there's a need. Because everybody that competes pretty much gets a fit one way or another. Either their team or their coach would tell them you need to get a whatever. That's how I found out that there was such a thing. You get a bike, you can just get on it and go. And, so I have an appreciation for that. So I don't try to talk anybody into it. When people are ready, they're easier to deal with as a client. Merry Christmas. Paul said, Merry Christmas from the First Lady. Yeah, they were upstairs eating. I left them eating to come start the session. They're going to look at Christmas lights. That's not my thing. I don't want to go look at any lights. You got to sit in a car and get in a line. I'm like, Cycle Jockey, I don't get to make many live sessions live. I'm glad you made it today, but really enjoyed it. I have learned much more cycling from videos than any other channel. Well, that's good to know. That's really good to know. We try our best over here. You know, there's a lot that I didn't know when I got into cycling, so I have an appreciation for how much people seek information. I try to keep it simple here. Edward Siri, Merry Christmas to you and your family from Danburg. And Merry Christmas to you, Edward, and you and your family. Derek Clark, what chain degreaser do you use? Nothing special. Let's see. I use a citrus degreaser made by a company called ZEP, Z-E-P. They have a citrus degreaser and they've got a standard like a purple degreaser, which is heavier. I have both of those. The reason being is some of the people like Robert mentioned, what other things were word of mouth. Some of the people that I help with fit asked me to work on their bikes. So I've recently started doing bike repairs by appointment. And some people bring their bikes and it needs to be cleaned out, you know, especially when they're doing tune-ups and so forth. So I use the heavy-duty purple ZEP for the ones that are really, really dirty. And the other ones I use the citrus degreaser, like orange. So yeah, get one of those, and they're concentrated, so you can make your own mix. And I mix them and put them in a spray bottle to degrease the chain. The key is that it's not just putting the degreaser on the chain, but getting something like a brush or a sponge so that when you're washing the chain, you can get in between there, because there's always stuff that stays behind. Or you can use a toothbrush. But I like to use a brush with bristles when I wash the chain, so that it can get in there and get everything out, so you truly get a clean chain. Because I like to use a wax base on a lot of my chains sometimes. And if you're going to do any degreaser, any lubricant that has wax-based stuff, you want to make sure the chain is clean, so you're not waxing dirt. So Razvan wants to know, do you maintenance your shifters and brake levers? Not really, because for the most part, when they come, they have from the factory, they're treated. Unless you have an infusion of maybe water or whatever, there's not a whole lot to do in there. So I don't mess with them because they're very delicate, especially these ergo combination shifters we have. You don't want to get it. If it's not broken, don't get in there. The pieces are really small. I have Campagnolo, and so they're very serviceable. I don't think Dura Ace is as serviceable. I think they're designed that when they start having problems, you just get a new one. So it's almost like their lifetime, but their lifetime is a long time. So if they're not giving you a problem, don't try to take them apart. You're dealing with very small pieces there. It's kind of like the carburetor on a car. Don't overhaul it unless you're having problems and you know what you're doing, because putting it back together is not that simple. So no, I don't mess with them. They don't give me any problems. They just work. The main thing I do is I make sure the cable is not sticking, like you don't have any rust buildup or whatever. The newer cables now come treated with Teflon on them, so really don't have that many problems. My bikes don't stay outside, and I think most people on here, the bikes are probably in the garage. You know, my bikes are in the house, in the studio that I film in. And even if you keep it in the garage, you're not going to have problems. If you leave it on the porch where you get, you know, the dew and rain, then yes, you're going to have problems with the cables and other things like that more frequently than the rest of us that keep them in the garage. So for the kind of bikes that we use, even if you have a beach cruiser, keep it in the garage, because you're better off than letting that surface rust build on your chain and other stuff. You know, don't leave it on the porch. Even if you chain it to where it's not going to be taken away easily, might as well put the bike in the garage, whatever bike you have. That's the way to go. You know, so yeah, so you don't need to mess with the shifters. So before you came, my brother, gentleman here, who was it? Let's see. I think it was Rashid. Rashid asked what a Mare Maltos could get this jersey that we designed. And so fortunately, I kind of thought about it. I thought it would come up, and I'm glad I did. It's already on the website. So I gave him the link so he can get them. But I explained to him that the biggest difference about this is custom, but we can order in quantities of one if we need to. From the date of their order, 4 to 6 weeks, he'll have a copy in his hand. So that's kind of cool, better than dealing with Santini that wanted us to buy huge numbers at once. So we don't have that problem. So we'll be able to take care of everybody. And then I told him on Monday, we should have the shorts and the tights loaded on the website as well, because that was one thing that we never got with the tights. But this is the warm fleece. That's why I pulled it down to show this fleece. It's fleece lined. And so it's a little warmer than the standard. It's a lot warmer than the standard jersey. The standard jersey is a summer jersey with like vents on the side and so forth. And it's really, really neat. And I think both of them are going to do really well. I may make a video about it, but I decided to just wear it here and kind of introduce it using this live session. So that was kind of cool. Yeah. But yeah, so it's been a quick Christmas. I mean, I got up like at 5:30 because I had to sneak into the closet to wrap my wife's gifts because I believe she was hunting around to see if I got her something. And I acted like I didn't get her anything. And so I wrapped them up secretly while she was sleeping and slipped them under the tree. So she was very surprised. You guys know me. I got her something that requires a bit of work. They're sneakers. They kind of look a little dressy, but they have a pedometer built in to where you download an app, put it on your phone, and you pair the shoe to the app. And every time you walk, it tracks your steps. That's what she's into, and I noticed that. So I found one, and she loved it. So she's already set it up. She's been wearing it around the house. So this way she gets to work out. And so she's like, how did you know I would like that? And this and that. I said, well, you're always tracking everything you do. She can't do a ride or whatever without tracking something. She's got like stuff on the phone. So when we ride our bike, she's tracking on the phone how many miles or whatever, and those are the days where I don't carry anything because I'm just spinning with her. And so I think she'll get a kick. So she was very pleasantly surprised. Hey, Dan, Merry Christmas to you. Yeah, so I always like to get something that would kind of work. And then the 11-year-old asked for a lump of coal. We asked her, what would you like for Christmas? On her list, she just said lump of coal. So I asked her, why would you want a lump of coal? Did you hear that somewhere or whatever? Well, I've never seen coal. I said, well, that's okay too. I mean, we don't use coal around here. We got fireplaces and gas and electric or whatever. So to her, she thought it'd be a novelty. I think she may have watched something. I said, well, usually a lump of coal is the kids that weren't good or whatever. No, that's not what I mean. I just want to see what it is. So I was like, I don't know if I want to get any coal in here, because I guess there's charcoal and I don't know, coal is different or whatever. So I thought that was kind of weird. But anyway, I kind of track what they do online, and she's on YouTube and she watches these channels that have somebody named Freddy Fazbear. The channel is called Animatronics, and they collect these little creatures. They call them some kind of mini creature, I guess, mystery minis. That's what they call them. And so I saw her watching them, and I went and queried the channel, and I found 2 of those little guys at a GameStop in our area because they're hard to find. And so I was able to get her too. She was very surprised. She's like, how did you know? And this and that. I said, well, I watch what you guys watch because I got to keep tabs on them, So she was very surprised. So that was kind of cool. And it cost a whopping $8. So it's not how much you spend. It's just a matter of showing that you have interest in what they're into, So that was very, very good. She was so excited. So the fancy kite that my wife bought her is sitting on the floor. She's walking around these 2 little plastic figures because it's her thing, Let's see, Dan, I have a question. Do you train by annual or weekly TSS volume? How many yearly hours do you do? I don't really set any preset hours ahead of time because it's hard to know what I'll be able to do. So what you want to do, because that's not practical anyway, you can plan and then life happens. But what you really want to focus on is what you're training for. So if you have an event coming, and let's say, I don't know what kind of training plan you use. You have an event coming that you're preparing for, then you start from the event and you back up and give yourself enough time to be ready for that event. So for me, I have a set amount of hours I like to hit every week. That's one of the reasons why we don't miss our rides on Saturday, regardless of the weather, because that's part of the time that I have allocated. That's mine. And so if I blow it, then I can't try to make it up in the afternoon necessarily because that will interfere with something else. That's another reason. So I try to do between 10 to 12 hours a week, sometimes more, sometimes less. And then if an event is coming up, I may increase. So you want to have what you call base hours per se, with or without an event. And then when you have something coming, you can decide whether the hours you're training is enough. And then you splice it where you're going to have punchier rides mixed in and so forth. So it really comes down to having a training plan that you go by. I just follow our base training plan this time of the year. And then around February or so, I go into the preseason training plan. So those are the plans that we have on the website. I just kind of stay with that and ramp up or down based on whether I have an event or not. Merry Christmas, Richard. Richard Harris. Flash Thompson, Merry Christmas. Let's get the keys in for the Festive 500. Merry Christmas to you. Yeah, the Festive 500 is something I like to do. Unfortunately, they're only giving a digital, the what do you call it, the emblems now. Because we used to get a cloth, but now they're only doing digital. And what I would do is when I would get it, I would put it on the Festive 500 jersey that they would make for that. I have 3 of those already on each pocket of the older jersey. And then we have the last Festive 500 jersey, the one that we wore when we went to Anderson. But they're only giving digital stuff now. So which is fine. I mean, it's okay. But I do like doing that because the Festive 500 gives you a reason to get out of the house. Because yesterday I rode more than 5 hours. It was cold. I mean, I literally had all here covered. I pulled up the base layer I had has a neck that you can come up. I had it cover all here because it was very cold on my skin. You know. Hey, Robert, thank you, my brother. Merry Christmas to you. I pulled it all the way up here because going north for 3 hours, I was dealing with the wind. And while I was heading out there, I saw Mo, Al, and Fabian at Egypt Lane and Research Forest. They were coming in about 10-something in the morning. They went out there around 7 when it was brutally cold. I left here like maybe 9. And while I was heading out, they were coming back because they had been out there. And so I waved. I don't know if they even recognized me because I was covered all the way, but they probably did because I had to call Nago and they know the bike, you know. So I had on my orange helmet, black woolen cap with my ears covered. Everything was covered because it was cold. It was like maybe 7 Celsius and it felt colder, you know. But then coming back, it warmed up real quickly, you know. So that's the weather we have around here. You never really get acclimated to it. But it was good going out. Once I got out there, I was dressed nice and warm. I took Jackson Road and headed out 1486. And then I cut through Tri-Lakes and came back on Spring Branch Road. By the time I got into Grand Lake Estates, it was like in the 50s. So I even had to take out a layer of my gloves because I had 2 layers on. And so it was very nice and pleasant coming back. You know, so I enjoyed it. It was kind of cool to get back. So when I got back, my wife's like, "You went out there?" Because she was out and about. My daughter, the 9-year-old, wanted to finish off her Christmas shopping. They were out shopping, and they said it was brutally cold. They wanted to know if I still rode. I said, "Of course I rode. It was a sunny day. It was nice." I had to get out there and get my K's in. So it was kind of cool. So it's not always easy to get out, to get up and at it, you know. So you need something to kind of get you going. And so what I'm trying to get at is having the Festive 500 is another reason to get the impetus to get out there, you know. So I went ahead and rode a lot yesterday, knowing that with Christmas, you want to kind of stay close to home and hang out, you know. And I just did a lot of running around inside the house. You know, I'm the guy who carved the turkey and all of that. So it was kind of cool. So it was good. Dan, best to do your intervals alone with a partner, and I didn't group. People tend not to like that. There are many ways you can do your interval, Dan. And if you're with the group, and let's say it's a fast group, do your intervals at the front. Get to the front and pull, or go off the back and ride up to the group as an interval. Let the group gap you and ride up to. There's many ways you can do that without disturbing the group, you know. You guys, I don't know. I guess we don't film a lot of my polls, but the way we ride is, Paul already knows. If I'm pulling in a group, I'm feeling good because you're not required to pull. That's what a lot of the guys don't follow around here, because they'll pull and then get dropped, and then as a courtesy, there are always members of the group that want to wait for them. Well, it slows all of us down. I like to just keep moving. So for me, I'd much rather pull at a subdued pace longer and let everybody stay together. You stay up there long enough, your effort will go up, especially if you're going into the wind or going up the hill. If you want to hit zone 4, sit up there longer. You will hit it. The people who are drafting properly will be in lower zones if they're drafting properly. But there are two things they don't do right around here, generally. And this is not for everybody, not the WCC's guy, because a lot of the racer type guys, they know. They really respect that. But a lot of guys that just are casual riders, they don't draft as closely. They don't pay that close of an attention. So I'm just speaking in general. If you're drafting properly and someone on a flat road is going really hard, you will be in a slightly lower zone than that person at the front, unless they're really so far above your level. And so that person on the front will always be working harder because they're punching a hole in the wind. I'm not talking about climbing, because once you're going uphill, there's not that much of a draft benefit per se. It's more of just the fact that when you're at the front, you don't know what's going on behind you. But when you're going uphill, you have to work. And then you may have to let them go and then maybe catch back up after the downhill. So the biggest thing to note is that if you want to do your intervals, then do your intervals when you're pulling, pull longer, or wait till the road goes up where everybody's going to be expected to work hard. Then you work hard and then wait for the group on the downhill. You can still do your interval without letting the group know you're doing intervals. You don't need to announce that you're doing intervals, and you don't want them to know anyway. Just use the group to do your intervals. But if you're going to do like a 20-minute zone 4 interval, then yeah, you might as well do it alone. The only problem is alone, you got to really psychologically push yourself. And sometimes that gets hard on you. That's the thing. So if you're doing long intervals, the shorter ones are easier to get in the group, because really you can go hard for 30 seconds to a minute without the group knowing what you're doing. And you can't really depend on heart rate for those, because by the time the heart rate catches up, you're done with your interval. So it depends on the kind of intervals. But yes, I'm going to agree with you on the tail end, meaning that your best hard workouts are done by yourself. Because when you get with a group, you can't control everything. So if you're really trying to hit a zone, it's best to do them by yourself. I do my hardest workouts during the week. When I get with a group, it's more of a social thing. And that's why I always say, I felt like playing when they went. If I'm feeling good and they go, it's an opportunity. And then you go, And so that's the thing. So, yeah, you're right. And, yes, if you have a partner that's like-minded, then what you can do is you can take pulls into the wind, pull off, let your partner get to the front, and then you draft to teach your body to recover at speed. Paul and I do that from time to time. So yes, it's just when you get with a group, it's more of a social thing per se, unless you're racing, but it's really something somewhere where you have to pay attention to what's happening around. You can't just do your own thing anymore, and groups got their issues, and somebody might have a flat and this and that. After a while, you might have to let them go and just say, hey, I got to go. I got to get back. We get that a lot. A lot of riders, will say, hey, I got to get back. I can't wait or whatever. And we respect that. That's the thing. That's the thing with group. I mean, you get you get to socialize, but everything's has its pros and cons. All right. Hey, Luke, how you doing? So Dan, so do you still train to race, or you like to keep the form as the years pass? I haven't raced in a long time, but I could if I wanted to. I got a little, I don't say burned out, but bored with it. So much travel with racing. Here in Texas, where we live, we don't have a lot of races near where we are. We used to get maybe 1 or 2 a year. And so the people who race, you travel so much. I mean, so after a while, I raced for a long time. After a while, I got kind of bored with it. But the kind of training, if I wanted to do a race, I would just have to tune my training and increase my speed work to be ready for that. And so the kind of training I'm doing now is very close to the training I did when I raced, because we trained like the old Euro style. You're doing a 30-mile race. I didn't train for 30 miles. I trained for 90. So when I get in a 30-mile race, I didn't care about whether I had a flat riding back to the group, because stuff happened. That's the same way the guys in the pro peloton do. Because I'm sure you wonder, the guys will have a flat that teammates will wait for them so they can draft, but they still have to work. And they got to ride back to the peloton and still be a factor in that stage. So that means you got to train more than what the event requires. That's why Paul and I ride minimum 6 hours every Saturday. So if I wanted to do a race, I would probably just need a few weeks of some speed work. Boom. And I still train the race because during the week, that's what I do. My Tuesday workouts are pretty short. I go out for an hour and a half or two and just spice it up, keep my engine turning. Because that prepares me for Saturday when we get with Team RR, when they start jumping, or we get with WCC. So yes, I train the same way. Once you start riding a certain way, it just kind of, it stays there. I'm not doing the serious volume, the intensity volume that I used to do when I competed, but I still do that intensity. Luke Holloway, what are the benefits of Campy? I guess maybe versus the other ones. I think they're more precise. I've said it before. My experience with Shimano is that although they shift fairly well, sometimes they're so smooth that it's almost like driving an automatic car where you can't really tell the gear shifts unless you slam on the accelerator to get that downshift. You know what I mean? Whereas with Campy, you feel the notches when you shift. So there is no delay, and you're not wondering, did I shift or didn't I? So yeah, precision is better and very mechanical. I like that. Welcome, Jeffrey. Jeffrey Davis is here. Happy holidays to you. So yeah, it's just a matter of preference. There's nothing wrong with Shimano. They work really well. You know, they're kind of like the Timex of shifting, I guess. I have not tried personally owning SRAM. I've worked on bikes that have SRAM, and I guess they're okay. It's just that they're trying to reinvent the wheel per se. They have their own way of shifting and all that kind of stuff, and I don't know. I don't think it's better. I like the way the normal stuff shifts, where you click one side is going this way, you know, use the other one, but SRAM has kind of put everything together where the SRAM ETAP, you know. And I guess once you get used to it, I think it's okay. But I don't like change for change's sake. You know, what are they trying to fix? You know. So Luke says it's good to be on the actual road. The sensation of speed is great. Let's see here. Jack of all said, would you incorporate some intensity training intervals in your group ride? I heard timeout. Oh, Jack's talking about, I will come back to Luke, because I'm not sure what Luke is talking. I think Luke is following up to something. He says, yeah, it's good to be on the actual road. Yeah, the timeout that you heard was Mark saying timeout. And I think he said it in jest. At the same time, he was winded, because as we went by him, Paul mentioned he heard his breathing he had pretty much hit like his threshold, and he overdid it. He had pulled for a long time on Jackson Road. He had pulled off. The next guy, Rob, started to pull. I remember that scene. Rob started to pull. This is the last ride that we incorporated rain and fog. Rob started to pull, and then Mark, as soon as the road started to go up, Mark likes to do his intervals, which is similar to what Dan just said here. Best to do your intervals alone or with a partner, not in a group. Mark uses the hills for his intervals. Well, our hills are not very, very long. We got a few. You know, we don't have a hill like 2-3 kilometers long or whatever. So they're like little bumps, sprinters bumps. Doesn't mean the intensity is any less. In fact, the intensity can be more, because if you're only doing a 20-second effort, you might do 1,200 watts versus if you're climbing for 3 kilometers. So when he does that, it gets other people riled up, and then they start, you know, all hell breaks loose. And so Scott told him at the end, after he said time out. I heard it during the ride and on the film, but nobody paid him any mind, because once you started and people are feeling good, it's just gonna go. But that just breaks up the group. And with them, when it breaks up the group, you get to the intersection, they didn't want to wait. Well, it would have been better to hold a steady or hard pace, get everybody over the hill, and so we keep moving. because then your average is higher. You keep moving as opposed to doing, say, 37 kilometers an hour, which is like, say, 23, 24 on the hill. Then we stop at the corner at 0. Think about averaging that. I'd much rather average 19 or 20 miles an hour and just stay there than stopping to 0 like they do. That's the thing about them I don't get. We're not racing, so we're just riding together. Or let the people who want to go faster break up, be group A, and let the other group be group B, and continue. We all know where we're going to end up. So why is group A waiting on group B? And I told Paul, I said, they're tired. They're not waiting because they care about group B. They're waiting because they need a break. We always laugh about that when I said, that's what I believe. Otherwise, we just keep going. You want to go faster? Let's go. Let's just go faster. We have A, B, C on the road, and we all can meet at the store because we're not that many minutes apart anyway. You know, that's what I believe. So, yeah, whatever your meaning is about good to being on the road, Luke, I agree. I like to be outside. The wind, the birds, whatever is different. No indoor training is going to replace that. I only ride indoors if I absolutely have to. If I can go outside, I go. For me, though, when it's very cold, if I'm going to wear all that stuff, I need to ride at least 3 hours. So if I don't have 3 hours to ride on a cold day, I'll just break out the trainer and spin. Watch a couple of programs or something, or turn on YouTube, watch my video. Because the time it takes to put on all that crap on a very cold day, your shoe covers and all of that, you know, like Thursday, Christmas Eve, I knew I would be doing at least 3 hours. And once I got out there, it was sunny, other than the wind, and I covered my face to keep my skin, because the wind hitting your face, it was very, very cold. So I pulled that thing up, my little neck gaiter thing that's blended into the thermal jersey we have, or thermal base layer. I just pulled it up, so I was comfortable. So I was like, oh, yeah, let's go. And then the day got warmer. Yeah. You know, that's why I always like to dress for the outside, so I don't go and turn around. I'm not going to spend 15, 20 minutes putting on stuff to go ride for an hour. What's the point of that? Let's jump on the trainer. You know, hey, Psycho's here. Merry Christmas, Psycho. So, yeah, it's good to get out. Quit. You know, a lot of people are worried about, somebody made the comment on one of the videos I made. Didn't mean anything by it. He just found the video I made where I said cycling for peace. And he said, oh, you know, you're not tracking any metrics. Look like you're just smelling the roses. And a lot of your rides don't need to be event-based per se. Most of your riding should be steady, because that's how you build your base. Throughout the year, you should have a couple of days where you're just riding. You don't care about metrics. You can have them on there, but you don't care about them. You just go and you ride. When you're actually specifically trying to tune the higher limits, that's when you go and you focus on that. You know, you can't do that for 5 hours anyway. You can incorporate that in a longer ride. That's how the pros do it. You know, they'll ride, and then certain sections they hit hard, then they recover and they do it. Maybe they might do 2 or 3 intervals during the ride. That's it, because that's the way racing is. You don't ride super fast the whole time, but you should be able to do that long enough to be able to peg back people or whatever. But once your base is solid, you don't have to be in the high zones to carry good speed. And so what I'm trying to get to is that if you put too much pressure on yourself, if every ride is about average speed and all that, nobody really cares. You know, when it's time to go fast, you'll go fast, but you can't go fast all the time because you get sick of it, because that means like you're doing the same thing all the time. The body can only take so much, you know, so you have to dose it out. So when it's time to go fast, you're ready to go fast. So you have to have rides where it's for high intensity, and you have to have rides where you're taking it easy. You're better off riding really fast and really slow. Don't ride in the middle, because that's just average. If you always ride in the middle, it'll just be mediocre. And then when it's time to go really hard, you'll be tired from all the middle riding. So when you're out just riding, just chill and just ride easily. Let your body build it up. When it's time to spike it, you'll be nice and ready. Dan says, nice insights on training. I tried the same. It's hard to log more than 12 hours a week with a job and a family. I try to spread them across the week. Yeah, don't worry so much about it. Just identify how much time you have to allocate to cycling. That's the question on our website. When people sign up for coaching, I have a form there. It asks, how many hours do you have each day to devote to cycling? It's like you're making an appointment with yourself. Be honest with yourself. Just block those times and then decide which time of day that works for you. And then don't miss those appointments. Then you will be good. Because if you keep missing it, you can't necessarily be able to get them back later on because something else comes up. So if you stick to the time that you have allocated, make an appointment with your bike and keep those appointments. You don't need a lot of hours unless you're competing at the top level. 7 to 10 hours, I would say 7 as a minimum to really improve, and you have to be focused. You don't need 12 hours a week to improve. You have to find the hours you have. There are weeks when I ride more than 12 hours. There are weeks when I ride 0 hours, so you have the time that you can allocate and don't let it interfere with the other parts of your life, and you stick with that. And then when you have some extra time, you can do a little more. But whenever there's a doubt and you're doing a little more, make it endurance. When you're doing a little more, don't force the intensity if you've already met your intensity quotient for the week. So don't worry so much about how many hours. What matters is how you ride those hours. Somebody can ride 500 miles, and if they're doing different intensities that are lower than the people who are riding less than that, when it's time to really hit those max zones, they're not going to be able to do that because they haven't trained their bodies to hit those zones. So don't worry about the guy who says, I'm riding 500 miles a week. I've said that there's too many miles anyway. What event are you going to participate in riding 500 miles a week? If you got the time, that's fine. But that's not going to make you faster unless you have the right percentages of the different effort levels that you're hitting in that week. We got a guy here who rides with more than Jerry. He rides a lot. He has his schedule and he sticks with it. And sometimes he'll ride more, sometimes he'll ride less. But when he's ready to go fast, he can go fast. So that means he's doing the right mix. He's not riding at one speed the whole time he's out there. So don't worry about the volume. Focus more on the quality. Focus more on the zones you're hitting, So yeah, that will be that's the best way to go about it. So Christmas is here now. I just wanted to have this video to chat with everybody. This is our retro kit that we're doing, and the pricing is much better than when we got it from Santini. The styling is the same, but we're able to get another vendor who makes it for us, and we don't have to order them in bulk anymore. So once you place your order, in 4 to 6 weeks, you'll have it in your hands. And that's what we're doing. We just got a copy. I wanted to get it in and make sure the quality was there. And so I will be wearing this when it's very cold, because tomorrow is going to be 50 Fahrenheit to 70 Fahrenheit. So I probably will not be wearing this. This will be too warm because it's got fleece on the inside. I will probably be wearing, and I got to talk to my brother, who will probably be wearing the short sleeve version tomorrow. It will be a good way to show it because it's well made, very breathable, and I think it will be perfect for, I don't know, it may be too light. It's really a summer jersey. So when it's 50 to 70, we're splitting hairs. That's the thing with our weather here. So we may not even be able to wear it because I don't want to wear this. This will be too warm. This is for like 10C or below. That's what with a base layer. It's a really warm jersey with the fleece, This is, you want to know what it is, US or European sizing. It's basically, it's kind of like Rafa. I guess I would say European sizing. It's on the website. I put the link there earlier. If you go to the shop, you will see Veloharmony Retro. We've loaded the jerseys, and on Monday we're going to load the shorts because we're going to have shorts and tights. We never got that before. All the sizes are in centimeters. So you just do your chest size for centimeters. Get as close as you can to your chest size. Like for me, I'm 103 centimeters, about 42 inches or whatever. But We just have it in centimeters because it's more accurate. Because since they're custom, you can't return them. They're making them for you. And they're really, really neat. And so we've got the short sleeve and the long sleeve. This is the long sleeve and it's very warm. I really like that because we never had one to wear when it was cold. And the one that we have, the short sleeve, is for the hottest weather because it's got vents on the side. The arm is like honeycomb, all vented. It's really, really nice. And right here, you can wear it most of the year. So this is what we've been needing, and we've got that. So for it, just go with your chest sizing, and you really will be good because the chest sizing is pit to pit, and you'll see the diagram. I've got the size charts loaded. So, and it's very, very affordable compared to the original that we had, and so that way everybody should be able to get themselves a copy. I really like this kit. So it came in yesterday, and so I wanted to just kind of try it on. But we're not going to be able to wear it until the weather gets warmer or colder. And tomorrow's going to be in between. It's going to be like 11 Celsius in the morning. It's going to be 20 to 21 Celsius later in the day. So it's going to be from 50 and going up. So it's going to be too cold to wear the summer jersey without a heavy base layer. And then it's too warm to wear this guy because by the time it gets near 65 or so, this guy gets uncomfortable with the fleece. This is for 50 or below, which is 10C or below. This is for very cold weather. It's really nice. Fabric feels really good. This is well made. So we're very pleased with that. So I'm going to go ahead and end the session here. It was great hooking up with you guys. I wanted to say Merry Christmas to all of you. We appreciate all your support. And hope you all get some Cajun tomorrow to burn off that Christmas food. All the good food that we'll be eating today. Okay? Merry Christmas to you and all your families. And be safe on the roads.